So let's just kind of talk about bank reconciliation on the deposit section right now. So
Joe said, great tutorial on the bulk deposits, thanks. And a quick question, isn't a gift card already an item previously paid for and might have been on a previous deposit?
okay, basically what it was is, that's a great question, and we just basically were like trying to clean up this little thing. Like I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to it as far as what's going on, but if a gift card, if that's what they were actually doing and we didn't need to do that, what we would do is we could actually say, oh, don't worry about you, you're not really real money. Gift cards get into an interesting thing. That's totally a balance sheet item. Did you know you basically go like this, okay? Joe, that was an awesome question. I didn't even have a thought about it. It was just like, clear out that tank. Okay, that was my goal. Check this out, okay? If you really, really want to talk about gift cards, what happens? Customer gets an invoice and creates an item. It's either a special line item or an inventory item. One of these two things, it doesn't matter. It's kind of an unlimited piece, okay? And you technically get money. So it temporarily sits here until you actually deposit that money. Click. And it got real money when they bought the gift card, okay? But because it was technically something that almost like an IOU, you virtually need to come up here and have a user-maintained thing that says, how much do I have in gift cards? That's potentially what's called a liability. I might have 15 customers out there, each one of them with $200 that I've already collected. You're missing this little piece. A gift card adds a little teeny piece called a liability, okay? I potentially have 15 times 200 out there that may come back and ask for it at any given time, okay? That was a great question. I totally didn't even catch that. That's good. So watch this. What if we actually went in and we voided a deposit? Have you guys ever voided a deposit? Well, we'll do that right now. Does that make sense how you have to kind of, here's what would actually happen on the gift cards. That whole thing, the amount of gift cards that were actually applied would have to then come down and say, oh, you know what, I no longer have 15 times 200, I only have this much. And depending on if you're tracking it in bulk or specific to each customer, or like when you get into gift cards, you just opened up a whole nother thing, because technically you're getting somebody's money, but you have to hold that as a liability. Even if they never come back, you technically have to hold that as a liability.
Okay, so when it showed up as a gift card on the thing, it meant somebody came in, no, somebody bought a gift card.
Okay,
The way we originally had it originally.
No. If it was as a payment option, somebody had a gift card, so technically it already existed up here in a liability to the company. I have some gift cards to the company, okay? Somebody comes in, all of a sudden, no cash transacts, but they go like this. I would like something, please. Okay, great. You can have this much, and I'm going to send it out the door, and I'm just going to say, oh, guess what? I'll eventually minus it out of this because no physical money hits on that deposit, okay? They walked out of the store with an item because it was purchased using a gift card that technically you had already collected the money on.
So why did it show in the deposits?
Because it was
No, it
under.
didn't show up in the deposit. It showed up in the. Where did we get it from?
It was basically right here in the corner of this AR waiting room. It was an invoice payment that said gift cards. Okay, so technically, what probably should have happened there, and if you want to talk full accounting, we would have to have a spot out here. We would have to have this. We'd have to have a user-maintained balance sheet item that was holding how much do I have out. Okay, how much do I have out? And depending on how detailed you want to, are we talking every single customer that we know what they all have, or just a bulk, hey, I have this much sold? And once again, that kind of comes down to what is your thing. So as we had that couple $100 that was from gift cards, that was a great question from Joe. It totally spun us off in a different direction, but it depends on what's really happening. The real story is no physical money. If we were saying a deposit on gift cards, it never actually really hit the bank. Okay, it actually reduced a liability. Does that make sense? How that's a totally different transaction. We're going to reverse some stuff and kind of play according to that. If you're okay with it, that's what we're going to do. Okay.
Then
So, what was that?
I was going to say, then he also just asked, unless the gift card expires, then you keep it as a bonus asset?
Okay, so here's what ends up happening. If the gift card expires, eventually, like you've got to have some pretty serious tracking. We actually have some stuff that's on the tick list. Like what we're going to do for the tick list is we're basically going to say, okay, who needs this? Like here's some things that we know that are potential pieces. Who wants to help fund these projects? We're going to let people say, if they want these projects, we've got some ideas. Let's help fund these things. Let's get them put out there, okay? But what we would like to do is actually create the little things so that you can actually monitor this entire gift card level so that everything's going on. Along with that, he asked, what happens if it expires? When do I claim that as my own revenue? Okay. Well, it depends on how detailed we're tracking it as far as how we would respond to that. But where we would like to go is actually you're doing all these details. Eventually, you kind of look at your cards, if you're literally tracking it to that level, and then you're like, okay, cool. These ones are all no good anymore. I'm going to take that entire amount that has not been used, and I'm going to actually say, yes, this really was some of my revenue, or it's now part of my P&L. I got revenue from people, but I have zero cost of goods sold, but it may have been sitting here on my balance sheet for a while because technically it was an IOU. Okay, I can't really claim that yet because it's kind of an IOU. Okay, so this is just me speaking. I would have to like kind of think about it to really get all the details, but I'm just trying to kind of spit it out there, if you will. But as soon as you get into gift cards, it sounds really cool. Oh yeah, cool, we'll do this and this and this. You just created an IOU, and how detailed are we going to be, and then how are we going to satisfy that as items walk out. Like, it really happens, okay? But it just kind of depends on how you're going to track it. Okay, awesome. I'm back in my normal tools. We're going to come here. I'm going to go to the deposit homepage. So let's go to deposit homepage. And this is 233? Let's go take a look at it. Edit. Okay, gift card, gift card, gift card, gift card. Okay, this was the payment type. So this was a total of $233.45 that was all attributed to gift cards. So just for fun, let's go take a look at one of these invoices. Okay, here's what happened. $80, and they actually used the entire thing with a gift card. Okay, so like Joe said, no physical money transacted. It actually happened some other different time. I'm very grateful that he actually caught that. I was just trying to clear out that the undeposited pieces. Okay, so in order to avoid something, you have to be on the edit line items. This is true on invoices, POs, expenses, deposits. You come down to the middle of the page. It's not where your normal navigation links are. We don't want you just clicking it on purpose, okay? We purposely kind of put it slightly down, a little bit lower. It's right above the line items. And we're going to say, void this deposit, okay? And then we're going to come in here and say, this was gift cards. No physical money. Changed hands at this point. I can tell it's the end of the day. I'm kind of like, ugh. My head's starting to go fuzzy. Okay, boom, successfully voided out that deposit. If I go back to my deposit homepage, we'll now notice it switched locations, it switched banks, it basically reversed all of that out. Guess what else it also did is I avoided that. If I go up to my payments not yet deposited, guess what's going to happen? They showed back up. Okay, I basically reversed them back out. Okay, so at this point I have $232 that's actually going to be attributed to this particular thing. How do I get rid of these payments? Because they physically never need to hit my bank, but I don't want them sitting here. Okay, how do I get rid of them?
Joe asked could you set up an accounts payable for gift cards? Maybe a simple way to log it, a separate fund, if you will.
Okay, potentially, yep. Here's what I was going to do for just a minute, okay? is basically, why don't we say what we've got. What we're going to do is we have a problem here, okay? We have some payments that need to be moved out of this area of invoice payments needing to be deposited. However, they have a special story to them, okay? I'm curious to see if we've actually sold any sort of gift cards to see if anything has actually been set up and created as far as monitoring and tracking. Who do we owe? What do we owe? And has that even been satisfied at all, okay? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say invoice advanced. Why would I go to the advanced invoice search?
Gives you a lot more search options.
Okay, I'm actually going to go to the invoice line. There's 3 different parts of this, okay? Here's the main. Go down to the next big line. Here's the line items. The final one is the payments. Where would I look for gift cards?
Payments.
Okay, that is actually on how much payments were applied to that. But if I sold them, if I'm looking sales, I would need to be in line items. How many of these gift cards did I sell? I just want to see if we even have anything, okay? I'm going to come down here and type in the word gift. And ideally, I would know what we called it inside of our company, because it could be called who knows what. I'm just going to check to see if I have anything under gift. Search. Okay? Gift certificate, gift card. Okay? Looks like they've got a couple different things that they've been selling all over the place. And so once again, I have no clue what's in this site. Like I haven't been in here to play. I'm going to switch this to grouped. This is total. I've sold 6 of these and 5 of these for a total of this price. Okay? So my total price right now is $1,515 that technically I have in IOUs out there. Okay? This is currently not being recorded in the my balance sheet. Okay?
But it was deposited into your account, so it's in your bank account.
My bank's up, and I'm like, yeehaw, I got money.
Liability because I owe somebody.
I potentially am just holding somebody's money. Okay, I have a liability out there. Okay, so what I'm going to do just for now, and this isn't necessarily the absolute fix, but just so you can kind of see how the whole thing would process, I'm going to go like this. Click, Control Copy. I want to kind of just make sure that this is going on right here, and then I'm going to actually come down and I'm going to say, let's go to Balance Sheet All. I'm going to actually go, I want to make sure that I've got this recorded as my liabilities. Okay? Somebody had started one, but they didn't. That looks really pretty teeny. Let's go check it out. Okay? Itsy bitsy teeny. Looks like they were just saying, hey, I sold a gift card. I'm going to bump this up. This is my liabilities that are being bumped up. Okay? So if you really wanted to do this, looks like they were tying it already to a lot of things. They were just barely starting the process. But what you could technically do is look at this. This is a balance sheet, a liability, which is correct. And they said, make it the running. See where the little asterisk is? It currently says that it's only $150. So instead of me plugging in this big, huge amount, if we were playing this way, every time one was sold, I would want to record when it was sold. Okay? Which technically would kind of say, here's this, here's this, here's this. These are all the gift cards that I would sell. And then as I deposit it or people brought it in, I would say, okay, I'm now going to lower this total amount. So then it would kind of keep a running total. Okay? So depending on how detailed it gets, that's how they did a great job here if you wanted to track it on this level. Okay? I was going to plug in a bigger amount, kind of be like, hey, here's how much we have out in gift cards right now. And then here's how much I just did in my deposits. Instead of like individually tracking it, I was just going to kind of do it in bulk. Do you guys want me to do it individual or bulk?
I just have a question. This is not an Adilas question. I think this is a legal question. I noticed that there was sales tax on a couple of those gift certificates.
That doesn't make a bit of difference.
So what I mean though is, legally, since I already am holding that money, when I do my quarterly sales tax, I actually will pay the sales tax on it, correct?
Basically, usually when you sell a gift card, it does not have sales tax on it. Okay.
Okay.
$500, great, thank you. Okay. And then when they come back to use it, hey, I'm going to pay $25. Okay, I'm going to charge sales tax on that $25.
Okay.
Not on the original $500.
Okay.
So that would actually be non-tax exempt. That would be like you'd have to kind of set these items up so it's specific, so you knew how it was going to flow through. Okay.
Okay.
So just so you know, it's a great idea and a great question, but once again, it kind of creates a cause and effect. Like it sounds so cool and simple and stuff like this, but it literally has a little bit of teeth behind it. Okay, it has some teeth. Okay, I'm going to just plug it in as a giant value. And if you want, I can even subtract 150 from the value that I was going to plug in versus doing all of this kind of stuff at once, okay? So I'm going to come down to the bottom. I'm going to say, boom, I want to increase the value of my liability by this much. Paste. And if we wanted to actually do a little quick math calculation, we would go like this. We would say clear, and we would say 1515 minus 150. Okay, so I'm going to up that by, it went away too fast, 1365. Now, can you see how we're going to be bumping that liability up? We want it to go up higher, okay? When we actually take all of those $233 that have been applied, we're going to bump this liability down, okay? And then we're going to just kind of clean those out of our piece, okay? So what's going on, this is in bulk. Prior to, what's the date today? It's 8/29? 8/29/13, okay? So I'm going to tell the story, bulk, bulk, bulk. I don't have anything to really tie it to. I'm just putting in a value, okay? Add this up. Click. In theory, I clicked it. It's really not that big of a deal. It just kind of depends on what internet traffic's doing right now.
I was going to say, people must be off to school, everybody's starting on homework.
That's possible. Who knows? Okay, so I'm going to actually hit back, and just for a second I'm going to grab this just so I know what was available. Or I can even, what I was going to do is instead of submitting it again, I was going to come back a page and hit refresh and see if it actually did land. Okay, it didn't land. So I'm going to say, cool, let's go ahead and do it again. What was it, 1365?
Yep.
And paste, I just grabbed it because I knew there may be a problem. Add that sub. Okay, piece of cake. So now my total liabilities is up to the 1515, which we should have had on our invoice search when we said, hey, how much have I sold? Okay. So now I'm currently holding this liability. I now have all these new payments that I now need to say, oh, I need to lower this particular balance sheet item so that it's no longer doing that. So here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to say, right here, I'm going to say deposit home. I'm bouncing all over, but I'm kind of like virtually cleaning some stuff up. What have I got? This is all of my gift cards, so it's $233.45. So I'm going to go Control Copy. I'm going to go right back to the balance sheet item that I was on. Click. Here's all my pieces, and I'm going to say I'm going to add a new item. Okay. So on this date, I want to reduce my liability by this amount. Okay, $23.35. Got 4 payments that were done on the gift card. Anyway, just some sort of a small story of what's going on, okay? I, once again, don't know any sort of information as far as what they were. I could individually go, oh, reduce it by this invoice, oh, reduce it by this invoice. That's individually tracking. I'm doing it in bulk right now, okay? I'm going to say add the sub. Here's what's going to go on. This is kind of cool. We're now down to 1281, okay? We went up, we went up, we went down. You can kind of see what's going on right here, okay? Every single thing has a date as far as what's going on and a little story as far as what's happening. I now have all of those different little pieces that are still needing to be cleaned up. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to click and go to the deposit homepage. And I am actually going to click on payments not yet deposited. And there's a cool little link if you have the admin capability that says status over here. I'm going to click on status on this one. and I'm going to say, just guess what, you're out of here, okay? Or you could add whatever you want, but watch this. If I click this, click, I'm going to come back to the little page that I was on. If I hit refresh, you don't have to do this all the time, but I'm literally clearing out some of these pieces one by one by one by one by one, kind of like, you know what, I already took care of you on a balance sheet item. No physical money actually transacted right here, okay? You're telling the system kind of what happened. These payments, they did really exist. It is really tied to an invoice, but they never physically followed that normal deposit path. I'm just going to, you know what, you are a gift card. Click, which basically is like, it's totally fine. Look at this. I'm not even tying it to deposit number. It's like, just get it out of here, leave it at deposit number 0, which is basically like a fictitious world, if you will. Then I would click on the next one and kill it. If this seems really tedious, there are some bulk tools, but you got to make sure you know what you're playing with, okay? You can kill things in bulk, and I can show you where that's at, but watch this. You have to have the admin key, okay? And there's a little link, and let me see it. View cleanup payments, okay? There is a bulk tool. We'll click on it. Right now it doesn't show any, but literally you can clean things up in bulk, okay? I just cleaned up all of the different payments, but it would show you some of your options here, and you could clean it up according to the date. And basically, this particular page is a 2-step process. What do you want to clean up? What's the date you want to do? Are you sure? Like, it's kind of like, okay, you're saying that you already took care of them some other way, so basically that's what's happening here. We had a little bit of a balance sheet transaction that was kind of going on.